Well, it sure does look good, don't it? All them fields, and there's more fields on the way back in there, and just looks like a natural place for a turkey to be and set up and kill him. And I'm sure there's probably turkeys in there. But hey, you know what? We're on some public land today, looking around. We're going to talk about public land just for a little bit. You know, I'm not an expert on public land because I don't hunt public land a whole lot, but I do hunt public land when the opportunity arises that I think it's got some turkeys on it. So we're going to talk about public land and just some of the basic things that I do when I've never been on a piece of public land, or any land, but especially public, what I do to get started in the right direction when it comes to scouting. Now, we're out here in March, of course, you know, so we're about a good month away from season, so this is the time to start doing this stuff. Now, the one thing that I do, and you can, a lot of the times you can do this at the house, on your apps on your phone or your computer, is get on these maps and find out what the lay of the land's at. A lot of times you can eliminate a lot of acres and public land just by looking at the terrain and looking at what's there. Look, a turkey's got to have food, water, and cover. If you can find food, water, and cover on that public land or any land, then possibly there's going to be a good population of turkeys, right? So you want to find creek drainages, water, and you want to find food, whether it's a field, agricultural field, or whatever, acres or whatever, and you want to find cover. All right, now, here's the thing. See this big field back here, this big old cornfield? Boy, it looks good, don't it? And there's more fields that they planted last fall up through here, and you just think, boy, there should be some turkeys there. You pull in, there's a gate right there, you got to walk in here. You would just think you can go up through here anywhere, stick you out some decoys, and pop you up a pop-up blind like they do on television, and yelp a few times, and them gobblers are going to be roosted on the edge, and they're going to come in these fields, you're going to kill them. How many pop-up blinds and decoys do you think you're going to see open the day of turkey season here, walking up this road, you know, peeking over in these edges of the field? I bet you're going to see a few of them. Now, will they kill any? Maybe, I don't know. You never know where a turkey's going to be, but probably not. Because by the time turkey season opens, I guarantee you these turkeys are already going to hear calling. They're already going to be seeing people walking through here. They're already going to be having people, of course there's horseback riding in here too. They're already going to be pressured, all right? So the chances of killing a gobbler right out there in that edge of that field right here by the gate is probably not very good. So here's what I do. I'll walk the outside perimeter. I'll find the outside border, you know, the outside perimeter of the fence line, and I'll walk the fence line of these WMAs. I'll walk them, and I'll find out what Farmer Jones across the fence has been planting and what he's got for them to eat. That's where I'll go. And I'll walk the fence line, and I'll start on the outside perimeter, and then I'll start looking for creek drainages. I'll start looking for flats. I'll start looking for good shelves or ridge tops where they can roost, big cottonwood trees or big oak trees, whatever the case. And I'll start looking for these big, a lot of cover from the roost, and I'll find out what they're feeding on, probably across the fence on Farmer Jones. Now, you don't want to hunt right up on your Farmer Jones because you can't hunt over there, right? But you can hunt just far enough back away from that fence line to where if they're roosted on that WMA, you can get them before they get over on Farmer Jones. And so I start walking the outside perimeter, and that's where I'll start looking. Then I'll work my way into the heart of the property, and I'll start looking for scratching. I'll start getting on the creek drainages, start looking for droppings. I'll start looking for the sign, because it's not going to be probably very far from the food, whatever they're feeding on. Okay, now that's just a start. So I'll already have it bordered out, and I'll start from the outside in. I don't go into the heart of it and then work my way out, because you're just going to be wasting a lot of time looking for needles in a haystack, and you're going to be putting a lot of time walking that's unnecessary. So I want to find out what's happening on private, because chances are that's where they're going to be spending most of their time away from the hunting pressure. But many times you will find all this turkey sign right across the fence on public where you can hunt, but everybody else is over here by the gate, or they're right down in the very heart of the property, and they're down there walking around. And so I've found that hunting the outside perimeter and just deep enough back away from the fence line, a lot of times that's where these turkeys like to hang out. Now it is true that public land turkeys don't gobble as much as say on private, and it's not because of call shy, because I don't believe in that. It's not because it's because of hunting pressure. It's because of people. It's because they're hunter shy, not call shy. So And I don't want to make them gobble very much when I'm hunting them on public, because when he gobbles, he could be calling in other hunters too into my area. So I don't try to get him all fired up and call. I just want to locate where he's at, and I want to set up, do some soft calling, and try to already know the area where he wants to be at and sit up there and kill him. These are just things that you can do that'll point you in the right direction on public land, because a lot of guys get discouraged. They will go in there and they'll walk their shoe heels off trying to find these turkeys, and you just got to remember, you got to get away from the pressure. The chances of me coming in here and killing a gobbler right out there in any of these fields is very slim. You want to get away. And I don't know exactly what's all the way over, but I know this butts up against some big private land, and by the map, there's some big agricultural fields back in here, and so that's where you want to start at. You want to walk the fence line. Don't get on private, but stay on the fence line, and then come back. There's a creek drainage that goes all the way up through here, and it's really thick and nasty. And it looks like a pretty wide creek. Now, that's something else. If you can find a wide creek, don't let that discourage you. Even if it's 2 or 3 feet deep, get you some waders or get you a trash bag. Pull it out. I don't care what you got to do. Get across it, and you'll carry your other boots in there. Wade across it in waders. And then when you get up the other side, pull your waders off, put them under a log or something, and put your other boots on and go after it. Because that will stop a lot of hunters, and you'll be able to get on turkeys that maybe these hunters here just ain't going to go after, because they're just not into it that much to where they want to get wet. So you just got to look for these little honey holes. Now, something else I do on public, and most of the time when I hunt public, this is what I do. I very seldom hunt public early in the mornings. I'm usually on private. But if I haven't had any luck on private, I don't overlook spots like this. I'll come in here at 9:30, 10, 11 o'clock up in the day. And after everybody pretty much is gone, you might have 1 or 2 trucks here, or sometimes you won't have anybody, and you come in here when everybody else is gone, and already have these places you scouted and find the turkey sign, these little honey holes, and have them marked on your little maps. Get to them, set up in there, up in the middle of the day, and start calling, doing some soft calling. And a lot of times you'll find them turkeys that either has been pushed by these hunters here that has been in here, or that's just feeding around close to private, or getting a drink of water down these creek drainages or whatever, or strut zones. Get in there. A lot of times you'll find them turkeys that may gobble 1 or 2 times, but just enough for you to know where he's at, pinpoint him, and then call him in and kill him. So it can really be an effective tool. So again, I don't hunt a lot of public. I know a lot of you have to, because you don't have any private, and private land is getting harder and harder and harder, to get on and hunt anymore. So don't overlook these little honey holes. So these are just some of the basic things that I do when I have to hunt public land. So you want to get up in here, walk the borders, and try to find out what they're eating, where they're drinking, where they're roosting. Find the sign. And a lot of times you can save your season by filling that tag, and it may be just on public land. And so, hey, don't overlook these public land spots. All right, go over and join our Facebook if you haven't already. Go up in the description, that link there. Just hit the link. Come over to my Facebook page and hit like and follow me all year long. Not just in turkey season. Follow me all year long. Stay in touch with me. Share your success with me, and let's have a good time this spring. All right. God bless you. We'll see you in the next video.